All right. Looks like we're live. John Garcia, are you here? Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Frank, how are you? Yes, we are live. We are just getting started with another episode for how to start your store with GrooveKart. So, very excited to be here, Frank. Thank you for the invite. And hopefully, everybody else outside of the world just looking at us right now through Facebook and some other different channels are excited as well. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. I'm just going to do some maintenance here. I'm going to set my Skype to do not disturb. And if something happens, guys, John and I will communicate through Skype. So if you ever, if either one of us ever thinks something's going wrong, we'll check Skype. And so I put it on do not disturb. So I think that's good. Grab a pen, grab a paper. We are going to cover how to start your very own print-on-demand store with GrooveKart from the ground up, meaning zero. We're going to start at zero. The only thing I did cheat. I went to buy the domain first. Okay, so that saved some time because I'm pretty sure everyone knows how to buy a domain. So, and if not, go make an account at Namecheap and just buy a domain, and you'll know how to do it. It's simple. So, with that being said, let's John, you have ability to go into the corporate account, right? So we can go into the GrooveKart section and we'll start there. How about that?
As far as to create the actual card there,
Grab the subdomain. Yeah.
I believe I do, but let me just see which account was it because we haven't really got. I wasn't really ready for
Okay,
that
no problem.
access.
I'm going to share my screen and you just tell me if you can see it, okay?
Perfect. Yes, let's do that.
All right, let's go. All right, guys, and bear with us. We are John's in Florida and I'm in Chicago, so we're just trying to make this work and give you as much value as possible. So let's go to share and share screen window. All right. All right, and then you tell me if you can see the Groove dashboard.
I think we have to add it to the stream, and I think we're looking at it right now, Frank. So let me just do this. Awesome. Now we're looking at it. So
All right.
what we're gonna do? Let me just make sure that they only looking at the actual screen. Perfect. Let's
Perfect.
do it.
All right, so here we go, guys. So guess what? The domain we're going to go with and the niche we're going to go with is very cool. It's going to be based on print on demand stuff. And let me get the domain is called, ready? mycatswag.com. Okay, so we're going to do products for people who own cats and love their cats. Okay, and so I snatched up the domain mycatswag.com, and that's what we're going to go with. How about what do you think about that, John?
Actually, it is one of the most ample niches that you can find because when anything related to pets, to animals, it's always a niche that you want to follow. And a lot of people tell me, but Jan, that is actually saturated. There's
Never.
never a saturation. I mean, whoever tell you that the market is saturated doesn't know the market.
Yeah.
Why? Because you make your own opportunities. And my cat swag, I think it was a weird idea when we discussed it with Frank. It has an open possibility for cat owners as well as cat products. So you start defining when you get your domain name, start defining what your market is. Of course, do your homework a little bit earlier when you're buying your domain and find your interest, find your passion, find your pets. If you like cats, go for cats. If you like dogs, do dogs. I mean, there's plenty of space in the cyberspace, so you can do a lot of things with a very small idea. So, cats, Frank, that was a hit. That was a
Yeah.
home run, and that was a great idea.
Awesome. So, okay, guys. So when you log into Groove, the Groove platform, all you got to do is go over here, hover over the G up on the top left. If you're in a different section, and then you can click on GrooveKart. So we click on that, and it's going to take us right back to where I was at. Okay, so it's hover over the G, GrooveKart, bam, click it, and here we are, right? And so we're going to start from scratch, guys. Ground zero. Okay, this is from the ground up. So we're starting at zero, and then we're going to hit 150 miles an hour eventually. Okay, and just so you know, me and John talked about this. What I want to do is full transparency with this training. So you're going to see us do virtually everything related to this store, and we're going to run it, and we're even going to get to the point where we set up some test ads. Okay, I don't know which platform we're going to run the ads on, but we are even going to show you stuff like that so that you can see what it's like. Maybe you haven't run ads before. Maybe you don't have a huge budget to hire an ad agency and you're going to be doing this on your own. Totally get it. Totally understand. So this is showing you how to start your POD, your print on demand store from the ground up. And just think about this. If you're new, if you're an influencer, if you have your own business, if you have a brick and mortar business, if you're an affiliate, all of these different situations can apply to you and you can actually start your own store. So hopefully you get tons of value. So the first step is once you go and you get into GrooveKart, and I want to preface this with the fact that, or let me just mention this, you don't have to know your domain name yet. You can get started, right? So you can just grab the subdomain to get started and then buy the domain name later if you're not quite yet set on what that is. Let's say you do want to go into the cat niche for cat owners, but you don't know the name of it yet. That's okay, because once you decide, you can always change the main domain of your store later. But the first step is to snag the subdomain, right?
Right.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to type in. I copy and pasted the domain. So I'm just going to put in my cat swag and let's see if it's available. Okay. So
And also, guys, something to remember, Frank. Remember, the possibility to open their store right now when you log into your account is always open. However, if you have created a store in the past 7 days, you probably might see, if you are a premium customer, you might see, hey, you can create a store in the next 6 days or 5 days, whatever the case may be. Also, if you're a free account holder, you can still create an extra store, but you have to wait 30 days.
Yes.
So that's one of the caveats there that I want to make sure, since we're talking about full transparency, we have to make sure that whenever we create a new store, we take a look at what days do we have available to do so if we have recently created a store. But as just Frank did, we're going to just click create the store and see what happens.
Boom. So now, as you can see, just exactly what John Garcia mentioned, we can create one every 7 days. Why is this? Just to distract and eliminate the abuse. Because at one point, some people were creating subdomains of just, they were going hog wild and just I'm really not sure why they were doing it, but we did this to eliminate the unnecessary creation of stores and filling up the queue and making it backed up for people like yourself that are serious and not just snagging up different subdomain ideas.
And not only that, but also helps the performance, because we had cases that there were people with 20, 30 different accounts that they were not used. And as I might have mentioned this in the past, it's counterproductive when you try to start 20 stores at the same time. Always start with one, make it count, and then replicate. Use rinse and repeat. If you don't do that, if you try to open several stores at the same time, you're going to have one big problem, which is procrastination. You're going to sit down and think, what am I going to do with this store? What am I going to do with the next one? And at the end of the day, 6 months are going to pass by and you haven't done nothing. So let's avoid that. Let's create one store, laser focus in one store, just as Frank just started the process. So let's continue. Let's see if you can refresh now, Frank. I think that the store might be already created.
Look at that. Look at that. There we go.
There it is.
So there's our store. Now we're going to go into the dashboard and then we're going to I'm going to do my best to follow the steps in the wizard. Okay. So I just logged in. You have two options. When you first create your store, you're going to see my storefront, right? And then my admin dashboard. So if I click on this, it's going to take me to the default, right? This is the default template, default store, this sample products on here, etc. Right? And then if I click on this one, then it takes me to the dashboard. I already have that open, and here we are. Okay. So, and then there's a demo mode. If you're going to show, let's say you get really experienced, and later you want to train your own community, your own people, your own followers. You can put it on demo mode. So if I go here, I click that G, it takes me back out. Okay, I just wanted to point that out. So typically, just be careful of that. When you do so, it takes you out of the system. So only, not the G, but when you click this little cart. So just be aware of that. You want to stay up here. And this is just to help you get back to the main dashboard of the entire Groove ecosystem. Okay, so let's start by following the wizard. And as you can see, the domain is here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do our best to follow these steps and then do the domain after that. I already have Namecheap open, so we wanted to show you even that, how to update name servers and things like that, so that you're aware of how to do these steps. Okay, and the beauty about this is, let's say you're an affiliate, you do make money online stuff, you do affiliate marketing, you promote software, things like that, and you want to. And you know about advertising, you know about Instagram ads, you know about Facebook ads, things like that, and you want to generate a store, and you just want to test different niches to see which which one does best for you when you run ads or run a campaign or pay an influencer. Well, guess what? You can just come up with a general type name for a subdomain, and then let's say you run 10 different campaigns, 10 different niches, and then one starts selling really, really well. Even if you're a free account holder, then you could decide on what domain you use later, should you not connect the domain right away. Or you could come up with a really cool domain that works for any niche. So like I remember I had a friend who had a domain. It was like, oh my God, wow, I love this.com, something like that. It was very, it was like, oh my God, gotta have it, or something like that.com. And guess what? He ran promos and ran advertising to several different niches, and he was making sales in the cat niche and the firefighter niche and the mom niche and the grandparents niche. And he just had one domain where he was driving the traffic to. So a lot of people don't encourage to do that. It's totally up to you how you want to do it. And maybe later on, I'm going to mention some ways to do tests without, committing to your one store or something like that. I'm going to give you some ideas for that later. So let's just dive into the wizard, and we are on step 1. Okay, John, everything's still good?
Yep, everything is still good. People are actually asking questions already.
Okay, great.
So let's just move forward. And I believe probably around 4:30 we can probably make a little break so we can answer some questions. But let's just keep moving forward with the setup.
Okay, great. So in the wizard, the first step is store details. Okay. And in a second, I'm going to pass it to, we're going to go and do this stuff first, and then we're going to come back to this logo and the favicon. So I'm going to pass the baton to John Garcia in a second, and we're going to make a fun, I don't even know what it looks like yet, but we're going to make a fun little logo on Canva. Is that good for you, John?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. So whenever you're
Okay.
ready. So since this is the first step,
Yeah, let's go
uh,
ahead and do it. I'm gonna start
perfect.
sharing.
All right, let me just try to share my screen now. I'm actually working in a single screen today. So I am going to be moving out of this, and you're probably looking at my screen right now. Let me just take a look.
Yeah, add to stream.
And
There
what
we
I'm going
go.
to do, I am going to open a new window. So you guys are looking at my window. I'm not looking at what I'm doing right here, but I am going to go just to canva.com. And I believe I already have my account open. And actually, guys, we recommend Canva because it's number one is free. Number two, it's very simple to use. And as I will show you right now, it's 4:13. You can create a logo in literally 5 minutes. So my whole goal is for this moment on is 4:13 to maybe 4:18 to 4:20. You will see how easy it is to create a logo. Once you have an idea on the domain name, or maybe the topic, or maybe the industry or the niche that you want to talk about, or you want to sell products to, you want to make sure that you have a nice little logo to showcase that. So we're going to start with that. So when you log into Canva, as I mentioned, it's free. They give you a couple of options, and one of them is actually just create your own logo. So I'm going to just create this right here, and it will just be like a small little editor that you can bring elements and uploads and text and all of the stuff. The cool thing about it is that you type in the search right here, and I'm going to choose the word cat. And as you can see, I can just prepare something here already. And it'll give you actually ideas of the logo that you might want to use. Of course, you want to personalize it, you want to make it your own, but it's always good to have this option. Why? Because it's super fast. It doesn't really take you that long, coming to speaking of fast. And the cool thing also is that it doesn't cost you nothing. And unless, of course, you want a professionally made logo, you can get any other designer to do that for you. You can actually hire anybody in Fiverr, or maybe somebody that you might know that actually has expertise with Photoshop or Illustrator that might want to help you with that. You can actually do that. But for the sake of speed, that's what we're going to do. So now I
Yeah.
have 5 minutes in the clock. Yeah, Frank?
Yeah, I just want to add, guys, listen, don't get caught up in the logo thing. I've seen
Yes,
people spend $1,000 on a logo, and it's like then they freak out because they spent the $1,000.
exactly. I
You
think
know,
that money should be focused on, if you have that kind of money and you want to spend it in your store, wait until you have your store completely done, run it for a couple of days, and think of those funds as an advertisement fund. So you can actually budget that money to put here some money in Facebook advertising, in TikTok advertising, and I know Frank and I will cover that later down the road. So, but let me just bring something in here. So we have our canvas here, and we're gonna just select, and I'm digging this little cat right here, and
yeah.
I think it's a cool image, and of course I'm gonna get another free trial. Oh,
Oh, that's a
okay.
pro version. Okay,
It's a pro
let's see.
version, so it's
We can
okay.
we can probably mimic that one and see if we can make one similar. But yeah, let's see what's free. Let's just see what's free.
Right here. Oh, by the way, guys, so if you guys are new to Canva, for some that might be new to Canva, anytime you actually see that little crown, that means that it's a pro service, meaning that you have to upgrade. But it's very few far in between because the rest of the options are actually free. So this one, I actually like this one. And I think I saw one down in the bottom here,
Yeah.
but it's also pro. But I think this one, let's just for the sake of argument, let's bring this one out. You see, it's spot on. It's very simple. It's a
Yeah.
cat, but I think if we just change my cat swag.com, right? So if you come across that, you just like make sure that you make the image larger, maybe the text a little bit smaller, perhaps, so it will actually fit better. So let's just make sure that the text is smaller. Something very simple. And I believe you can move let me just see if I can ungroup. So I can actually just delete this. I believe that I have to delete this here. So then you have free range to actually play with the logo and the way that it might look. So we can actually do this. And I believe there is a way for us to curve this thing. I believe, but no, actually not in this one, not in this
Yeah.
version.
Actually, no, I just saw it. Let's see if you go back to effects and then you click on
Oh, right here,
curve.
curve. Oh, they actually make it now free. That's nice. So you can
Yeah.
actually just go like this,
Yeah, I like that.
and I mean it's very simple.
Yeah,
It's
and then
catchy.
we can crop that little cat, and that can be our favicon. Just the
Ex-
cat.
you just read my mind because that
Yeah.
is exactly why I selected something that is not as flashy and super complicated, and it kind of just. Let me just see if I can change the color here for the text. Let's just do it in white. Let me see if I get the whole thing. And let's just make sure that it's all in white. And look at that. If you take a look at the clock right now, it's 4:18.
Yeah.
Literally in 3 minutes, we just made a logo. And I think it's super simple to do.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of not complicating the steps. And down the road, if your site gets so successful, which we all hope is going to do, you want to change that. You want to maybe rechange or recreate your branding, but simple branding to start, it is the most important part.
Yeah. And
And
money loves speed, guys. Money loves speed.
exactly. And you see, it's pretty much done. I mean, you can actually have this already here, and let's just save it. Let me just kind
Yeah,
of
I
just
like it.
download it.
I mean, I like this. Like when I sometimes, guys, this happens to me. Sometimes I get excited. I have an idea, and I'll spend a day on Saturday or Sunday, and I'll just put together a store. I'll get the product. I'll get the logo. I'll start running traffic because so you want to stay, especially like if you're not tied or committed to like let's say you have a really business, a good one that's going 50 grand a month or 100 grand a month and you're still figuring things out. I can't tell you how many times in over the years where I had my really good store and it was niched down. So it was, and then I had this idea about a cat store cat owner store, man, you could spend the time on the weekend, knock it out, and by you getting these little things like the logo done quickly, you don't have to spend a lot of time. I've seen people spend a week on a logo, and you don't need to. What is
I
that?
think
Oh, it's a paid one, huh? Paying down?
I guess it's
I
considered
thought
a
it
pay
was
one.
free. Oh, maybe
Mm,
the curve was. Maybe the curve was.
that's what I'm thinking. That you see, I think the curve it will actually
Can you
make
log
it
in with
pay.
Mike's account through?
I think I have a kind of just let me just do something here because
Yeah.
that was unexpected and I should have just probably let me just see something here. PNG JPEG.
Let's see.
Uh,
Don't pay for image. Get blah, 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 blah.
let me do
Try the
something here.
PNG again. Maybe it was just. Maybe I was talking too much. And let's see. One design, $1. Oh, okay.
Okay, pay and download. Okay, edit or download a free watermark draft. Okay, let me just
Yeah,
let me just download.
maybe we can crop that watermark. So I think one of the things we did, either the cat little image or the curvature, was a paid.
I believe it was the curvature. That's why I said I didn't even look at it because the curvature sometimes is a pro function. Let me just again take a look.
Hey guys, just to chime in, the cat image is the paid one. It says there when you want to download. Remove
Ah,
watermark.
there,
You see, that's
there
why
you go.
paid.
Oh, is that David Lemon? Is that
No,
Mr. Lemon?
it's your conscience.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So guys, so we kind of make a rookie mistake. We actually selected a cat that he was actually paid, but we got the watermark version. You can get a free version. So now let me just check something here. Let me just make sure that we got the version here. Let me just go here to my downloads, and it is right here. So the file is here. I'm gonna open the file, ready to go, so we can actually upload it to the store. So now, as you can see, we did it a logo very quickly, not so fancy, and thank you, David, for pointing that out. So let's just go back to the store, and now, Frank, I might need to send you this file
Through Skype. Yeah.
through Skype, so I'll send it to you in a second while you continue the process. But you see,
Yeah.
literally in 7 minutes, actually 5 minutes and a half, we actually create the logo. You can do that too, very simple steps. So that's just how we started.
Yeah.
So
And
now,
I'm glad your conscience was able to hop in there and help you out. So
yeah,
that
my
was,
conscience is always, taking a look at how we're taking it.
yeah,
But
that's
all right,
good.
so now I'm gonna just go back to your screen so we can actually keep going with the
Yeah.
process.
Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna get the thing ready. I'm gonna check Skype, and then we're gonna share my screen in just a second. So
Perfect. Let me just send it to you here, and while my Skype loads, and we'll actually just do this in 30 seconds here. This is the marvelous things about working as a team and all the tools that we get to actually play with. So let me just do this, and my Skype is, if I lose connection, guys, I'll jump back in quickly, but let me just here look for Frank, and I'm sending you the file in just a moment.
okay, great. And so also, guys, what I'll give you a little thing that I do when I make logos, and I'm big on like trying to implement things fast, right? So you can look up articles and stuff on trusted colors for e-commerce, and you can see some colors that rub people the wrong way and others that might. It depends on the emotions you want to have your store reflect, and
Right,
it's not necessarily like, okay, if I use purple they're going to be raging mad. No, it's just a guide. You can look up that. If I had a handy I'd show it to you, but you can go look up trusted e-commerce colors. Maybe is one I would look. I usually go with a lot of cool colors like blue and like the Facebook blue and things, because it just subconsciously they see that blue and they automatically just trust your site more versus something that's like hot pink and bright orange and fluorescent greens and stuff like that. Just keep that in mind too when you're setting your store up. You want it to be visually appealing and nice, not like jarring to where it like freaks people out when they first land on it.
Yes, and one of the things that, since Frank mentioned it, it's important that you can combine the colors depending on the tone of your store. If you're selling to cat owners, uh, try to just, some really cool tones, yellows, greens, even reds and blues sometimes work out. But be careful with the usage of red. In certain cultures, especially internationally, red is kind of used as a negative color, but it also kind of just have a different significance somewhere else. So play around with the colors and ask around. If you don't know, the best way is to ask. So ask your community. Second step that we're going to probably talk about as well is create a Facebook group, a Facebook page. Ask in your group, hey guys, I'm actually redoing my branding. If you get that feedback from your users, it will actually help you to reach out better because then you'll know what they want. So if you have a following already and you're planning to do a store, start by asking around your own group, your own tribe, and say, hey guys, I'm actually ready to open my store, but I want to help with this. And for sure people will help you. So Frank, I believe you got the file already.
Okay. All right, great. I muted myself because I was clicking to get ready, so I didn't want to click over you. All right, guys. So here we're going to do. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to go through this process real quick to show you the basic stuff. I know some of you will preach to the choir, but we want to cover every single little step. So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to rock and roll.
Yeah, remember, we're going step by step, trying to go as slow as possible. This might be a couple of episodes long. So for those who are a little bit more advanced, please be patient with us because we are trying to make sure that everybody that is just starting with the V2 for GrooveKart actually get all the training as well.
All right. You see my screen, John?
Yeah, everything looking great.
Perfect. So we're just going to click upload logo, right? And then I'm going to go to downloads and then look at that, my cat swag. Now it has the, the watermark. That's okay. Later on, we're going to pay for this. Maybe we'll make a better logo. Not saying yours is bad, David. John, I'm just saying maybe we'll create a different one later or just remove the,
The watermark. Yeah, most likely the watermark.
Yeah. So you can go like this if you wanted to, and you can crop it, right? Or you can use full image. I'm not going to use full image because there's a lot of space around it. Okay. That's another quick little tip. If you make a logo and there's a lot of blank white space or whatever, I typically crop it so that it's nice and tight, not because to give you an example, let's say there's 300 pixels of white space above and below, and you use the full image, it's going to show up small on your website, if that makes sense.
Exactly. And one other trick is whenever you're doing this, just make sure that you have a little bit of variation on the size because sometimes when you crop it too close, then it's too close to the margin. So just try to have one or two different variations.
Yeah. So let's just do this like you said. We're going to go like that. And then I'm going to bring it down a little bit. And then I'm going to bring this down like so. Okay.
Perfect.
Now, we're going to crop select it. And just so you know, like type of training, you're getting John Garcia. He's a master at this stuff. And then you're getting me. My world has always been direct response, put it up, throw money at it, and then do your tests and see which campaign or whatever wins. So John Garcia is probably a lot better at the design as far as the templates and all that than I am. I really keep them super simple, and I just let the actual product I'm trying to sell do the selling for me, and I try to get that message to market, match and get them pumped up, excited, things like that. There's designers on our team like Damien and Lucius that could come in here, and maybe we'll do that, and maybe not this series, but we'll bring on one of the designers to give you some awesome tips on how to make your store look even sexier. And by the way, just so you know, we have a new template coming soon that's going to be by default, which I'm excited to share with you coming soon. So with that being said, we have the logo. Now we have the favicon. I wonder if I could, without doing it, let's just use, I'm going to use the same one for now, but I would like to use just a cat as the favicon eventually. You know what I mean? So like right now, we'll probably clean this up, and I just want the cat as the favicon, but I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. So, but we're just going to use that for now. The favicon, guys, if you look at your browser, like on Chrome, and you've saved a bunch of stuff, for example, if you go to GrooveFunnels, Groove Pages, GrooveCM, you'll see the G in the tab. That's the favicon. And typically they're 16 by 16 pixels or 32 by 32 pixels. And so you can take a big image and then resize it to 32 by 32, and that can be your favicon. And you want it to be memorable. You want it to so when people look at it, they know, oh, that's Groove, or oh, that's my store. Okay, so if they go to mycatswag.com, they're going to see the little cat as the favicon, and that way they'll know to go back there. If, let's say, the phone rang and they need to leave or whatever, they can come back and find your site easy. So I'll probably change that in a second. I just didn't want to spend 10 minutes showing them how to get around. So I'm just going to change the name to My Cat Swag, okay? And then phone number, I don't know what phone number. Let's just say I'm going to use, don't call me, guys. Okay. Let's see. All right, 832, whatever. Okay, so that's the phone number. I can change it later. Actually, John, you want to get the number from the website for me? And I'll put that.
Do you want to put the number for? Well, you can actually just put 8888888 because again, this is going to be a recording, and
yeah, you're right.
We want to get waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I got you.
For those who are already thinking of calling us.
Yeah. Okay. And then store address. This is to be can spam compliant with the emails that go out from abandoned cart, the order confirmations, etc. So you do want to have legitimate addresses here to be can spam compliant and whatnot. So I can grab that from GrooveDigital.com, I think, right?
Yeah, I think, yeah, you can actually just Groove.CM.
Digital. I think it's at the bottom. We're just going to grab that real quick. Here it is. Perfect. And then we're going to go back.
There you go. Exactly.
It's just a mailing address. So this is going to be your mailing address to be can spam compliant. Okay. So I'm going to take out this stuff right here. Okay. And that's it. And then we go back up and we hit save. So let me just review. My Cat Swag 8888.
Yep.
This email is going to change after we can set up the domain name. Okay, guys. So this, you can leave it as is for now. And then I'm going to hit save. And the only thing I would add is I would make this a better favicon typically.
Yeah.
So let's go save. And then we're going to hit next. Now, depends on where you are in the world, right? So for me, if I'm setting this up, I'm typically going to sell to people in North America and, people abroad, probably a lot of people like in the top 5 countries when it comes to transactions and selling, right? So we're talking United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia. What's the other one? So in other words, this is totally up to you and your situation. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave this as is for our situation. Do you have any input on that, John?
Yeah, actually, as a matter of fact, I do. One of the things that you guys have to realize is when you leave this open to the world, you need to make sure that you follow through. And when I'm saying this, it pretty much relates to the shipping, which is the next step. Mm-hmm. You have to make sure that if you open the page or your GrooveKart to the world to be able to purchase from you, you need to make sure you and your suppliers are able to ship to those distances, to those countries that you're going to leave open. Usually people in the United States, they keep it between United States, Canada, parts of Central and South America as well. But in my personal opinion, in my kind of the way that I do it, since my focus is in the United States, I usually leave United States and Canada. However, if you live abroad, if you live international, if you live in England or in the UK or any other country, you have the ability to do that, just like Frank just did. And you can only sell in your country. That's a beautiful thing about Groove, that you can actually just leave all the countries open. Or if not, if you don't want to sell in certain countries, you can actually, in this step, it might be a little bit cumbersome, but you want to just check on the X's and remove the countries that you don't want to sell.
Yeah.
So you can actually do that.
I'm going to make a quick example, right? And this is nothing against whoever's watching. Okay. This is just.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, okay. Let me just pick some stuff. I don't know. I'm just picking random ones, right? Okay. And also, guys, if you're running traffic from Google Ads or Facebook, chances are these people from these different, they aren't going to see it, right? It's only if like someone that they know shared it. Okay. So you don't have to spend a week on this or a day or even an hour. Okay.
Right.
Just quickly decide. Right. So I'm just going to pick a couple of them. Let's just say Armenia, Albania, and again, I'm just picking stuff just so you can see. You see how I just clicked it off? And Bhutan. I don't know what these countries, So that's a perfect example. You can go through here and take out countries. Like I know I wouldn't probably sell to someone like let's just say in Iraq or China. I'm just not going to. You know what I mean? So boom, I would just go like that, right? So that's how you would go and you would take off the countries where your store is going to be available.
And by the way, guys, one little tidbit of information, Frank, sorry to interrupt you,
No
just
problem.
jump right in front of you. This situation, if you are, when we're talking about the speed, this process might be a little bit cumbersome because it's just clicking each country. There's actually a way to do it inside the settings, but it's not for this moment, but we'll do it later. But
Sure.
also one tip, very important tip, the language and the currency. Make sure that you select the languages that are going to be available soon for GrooveKart V2O, but most importantly, the currency. Some of the payment options that we have, like GroovePay, PayPal, and some others, they might only work with the currency of your local store. So if you're selling in the US, make sure that you only work with the dollar. If you happen to work with the euro, you just select the euro. Why is this? Because of the localization of your store. So let's just have that in mind. Now,
Yeah.
if you want to accept different currencies, just make sure that your payment provider will do that. And I believe PayPal and GroovePay do that as well.
So in this case, we're just going to leave euro and dollar. I typically would just put dollar because what I've seen from my years of selling e-commerce stuff since 2013, and even before then with work at home business opportunity stuff, is I'd have country people from all over the world buy stuff for me, and they'd pay in U.S. dollar. I don't know if it works that way for everyone, but I'd have people in South Africa pay in U.S. dollars. So
Right.
because the U.S. dollar is the U.S. dollar, and it's used a lot in many countries. So I would just leave U.S. dollar, and personally, I would take out euro, but we're just going to leave it for this training. Okay. Anything else on that, John?
That will be all. I think you cover the bases now. I think we should move to the
Save.
next
Okay.
step and save.
So I'm going to hit save. All right. So we're one step closer, guys. Now, shipping. John, you want to touch on this?
Actually, in this point, it's all
Skip it.
about what we just mentioned. I think that for the moment, I think for the moment that we're right now that we want to create the store and get it ready, you can skip the shipping right
Perfect.
now. But one thing to remember, you see where it says set up shipping methods? You can actually come back to this once your store is completed, because then you need to determine if you're doing print on demand, you don't have to deal with this because print on demand will actually, whatever your carrier is, yeah, they will actually take care of the whole shipping. Now, if you do have products yourself, let's say you're building trinkets or you're creating a product, if you're sending the products yourself, then yes, you might want to go to that step. But let's just skip for now.
Yeah, and guys, and another thing, we're going to hit skip based on piggyback on what John was saying. We want to show you a little bit more detail of how to do this in a way so that you don't lose money when someone's buying from the United Kingdom or something, and Printful has to charge you more because it's international. And I have a very simple rule of thumb that I use. John probably has his own. You're going to hear from both of us, and you can use whichever one makes sense to you. So I like to believe I learn valuable information from more than one leader, and then I kind of customize it to myself based on all three or four people that I learned from, and then I do what seems right for me in my situation.
Exactly. And I think it all depends on what are your financial goals, what are your financial capabilities, because you don't want to start selling, let's say, furniture when you know the average order might be $700 if you're doing drop shipping. Yes, the money is coming to your account, but you have to think of the process while you actually pay for the merchandise. So those are little things that we're going to touch in deep in the next sessions. Also, this one right here, which is taxes. So taxes are usually applicable only in the US, and we have three options as we have here in this in the screen. And you can either manually enter the taxes and automatically calculate it, or go with Taxier. And I know there's going to be a ton of questions about Taxier and how the integration works and how do I do the taxes. I think that is since we're trying to be as clear as possible with full transparency, taxes will be one of the sessions that we definitely need to dedicate at least an hour, so people will understand the dynamics of taxes, because it's a complex situation, but we're trying to simplify here the process for, just so we can actually complete the process today.
Yes,
But if
I
you're
like that
really,
idea.
yeah, if you're really interested on how to set up properly your taxes, for sure we're going to have a session dedicated for that, and probably we split it up between shipping and taxes. So if we dedicated half an hour each, I think that would be enough time to make sure that everybody sets up correctly.
Yeah,
And yeah, go ahead. Let's just keep
we're gonna
with the
use
setup.
we're gonna use the one I think you would pick. This is the one I pick. Automatically calculate. Okay, based on where we're at. Okay,
Correct.
so I'm gonna use the third option, and I'm gonna choose USA, and I'm gonna say, well, we're in Florida, right? So we're in Florida for the store. Okay, and then I don't remember the city. Was it Boca?
And
Yeah.
Boca Raton.
Oops. Boa. Let's see. And then what was it? 33432, I think.
I think that was it. Yes.
Okay. And so that's it. So what does that mean? So if someone orders from the state of Florida, they're going to be charged taxes. And then typically, if they order from another state,
They don't
typically
get charged.
they
No,
don't
they
get
don't.
charged. So that's how it
Yes.
typically works. So,
Yeah.
and then you as a business owner, hey, I collected $500 this year or this quarter in taxes. Then you do between you, your accountant, and your comptroller and all that other good stuff.
And
Right?
and that's the reason why we want to dedicate a good 30 minutes on that topic, because remember, we cannot give you tax advice, we
No.
can give you shipping advice, because that is completely up to you, your different location, your state, your city, and of course what you're doing. Because again, remember, when it comes to shipping, if you're doing print on demand or drop shipping, you don't need to deal with that. You probably want to charge people for your shipping for the product, maybe to actually buffer up the order, or maybe just making a little extra money, but you don't really need to deal with the whole situation of creating a process for your shipping, because they actually do that for you.
Yes, and to piggyback off that again, I'm doing a lot of piggybacks today. We're going to use one of the ones we're going to use in this training is Printful, and it's clear as day what the charges are, and so you can pass those charges on to your customer, or you can do a thing where it's free shipping for everything unless it's international. Then you charge a set amount so that you make it simple. You don't have to worry about, okay, am I using UPS? Am I using FedEx? Printful is gonna charge you a fee per hoodie, per shirt. They already have a table and everything ready to go. What you're gonna get charged for based on what you sell and what you fulfill. So you can. I like to do is I just match their prices. So if a shirt's $3.99 and a hoodie is $6.99, I set that up, or I make it completely free for everything, and then I just keep that in mind, and I put that shipping cost into the cost
Right.
of the item. So
Of the item.
let's hit save. Okay. All right, we're one step closer. Now, payment gateway. Now, let's touch real quick on this. If you are free, okay, you can use PayPal and GroovePay, and I believe what is the where they pay and you have to pick up cash on delivery if you're
Yeah,
free.
cash on delivery, yes.
If you are upgraded, then you can use all this stuff right here. So let's just go over real quick. We have PayPal, Stripe, Authorize.net, Nuve, Uviba, Card Payment, NMI, Bankzate. I think that's how you say that. To checkout, and then COD, cash on delivery. I just want to mention real quick, some countries are really big on COD. So if you can make that work for your country, and if it's a really hot thing and it's it exists here in the USA, but I haven't used cash on delivery in like forever. So I know in some countries it's really big. So depending on where you're at, that might be a winner for you.
Yes.
COD. Where I can't think off the top of my head what countries this is, but I know there are some countries where it's very common. It's like using a PayPal. It's just
Yeah.
a very common thing.
I mean, Brazil, in South America, it's very common because a lot of people, they have a smaller store, so they know the market, and they want to use that kind of payment because they can either deliver the product, get paid, but the thing is, like, they didn't know how to take the order online. So now GrooveKart, with the latest implementation that we kind of just created, was make sure that you have the ability. Let's say you have a brick and mortar store and you want to showcase everything to your neighbors or to your local vicinity. but you want to make sure that you're able to also offer them the option to order that product online. And you can tell them order online and you pay, just like Best Buy at some point did. Best Buy, you can actually at the beginning of their store, remember that you can send an email with the order or just fill out the form, get the order, and they will hold. And they still do it to this day, but you have to pay for it with a credit card before
Yeah.
you can get the order, get the product, and when you get to the store, you just pay either in cash or with a credit card, however you feel more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an option created for smaller businesses or people that actually have a smaller, enterprises that create stuff and then they needed to deliver it or have people to come to their store and get it.
Yeah. And so here, we can take this a couple ways. I want to see what you think, John. I can, if you have access to the Groove Gear Groove Pay account, we can get the API, or I can get it from my Groove Pay account, and then for the
Let's get it from your group account, since we're
Okay.
actually just trying to show something how to actually
Yeah.
connect it. I don't think it will not affect as much.
Okay, great.
So
Okay, so let me see here. I'm gonna go ahead and talk on this. I'm gonna see if I can get there. I'm gonna stop sharing.
sure, no worries.
So let
So
me
now
stop sharing. Okay.
Perfect. So while Frank does that, one of the things to consider, guys, when it comes to payments, also you got to realize that there's many options out there. We have PayPal, you have GroovePay, you have Backstage. Everything is available to you guys. Now, remember, this is for the upgraded customers. Free customers will have only GroovePay and PayPal. Why GroovePay? And I want to touch on that a little bit because of two reasons. Not only is part of the whole complete package that we offer, but also because they have very, very competitive rates. Yes, a lot of people say I'd rather use PayPal because of this reason. Well, the ability with GroovePay is not only we charge less per transaction and less on the actual percentage that you get charged, but also you get your money the next day. In PayPal, if they decide to hold your money for whatever reason, they do that. And not going to talk more than that, but that's something that we have experienced, that anybody that has been in this business for the past 15 to 20 years have experienced, and that is not a good feeling, guys. And again, not saying that I want to sway you out from PayPal, because it's a great option still, but whenever you're getting a little bit successful, whenever you're getting more sales than anticipated, the risk department will start getting to your account and say, hey guys, you're actually having too much fun. Let's just kind of block your stuff right here. And Frank is laughing because he knows that has happened to him.
Yeah.
And
And
so
real quick, I just want to add, when it comes to PayPal, don't get me wrong. If you have a business PayPal, add it in with the other, because
exactly,
what I noticed was about 60+% was credit card, debit card through Stripe and GroovePay, and then a little less than 40% was PayPal. Why? Because people just are used to the PayPal thing. But most people, if they want what you have and you don't have PayPal, they're going to pull out the debit card or the credit card.
right. And another good thing is always have a backup, always have a plan B. So if for some reason your merchant account or something happens, you never want to go down. You never want to be able not to sell, so you always have to have a plan B, something that you can actually easily connect, or maybe have it in the background and you just activate it. So that's the main reasons why PayPal is around. As I said, it's a great company still, but we want to present options so you guys can actually just make more money. And I believe Frank might be almost ready here.
So what I'm going to do, I'm waiting on the security code for GroovePay to come through. So in the meantime, I'm just going to show you how to activate GroovePay, and I'm going to share my screen real quick. So
cool, perfect. And in the meantime, Frank, while you do that, let me just answer some questions, because we said that we're going to take a little bit at the 4:30 mark. But let me go to the questions and see what we have, and I'm going to highlight the questions.
Okay.
So
can you see my screen?
I can see your screen. Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna connect GroovePay, guys. Okay, so
perfect. Let's do it, and then right after we connect GroovePay, we actually go to a couple of questions.
Okay, so I'm gonna click on that, and then let's go back. Let's skip payment gateway. Connect. Okay, let's see. Hang on. Let's skip this. It's probably okay. Here it is. So now you basically got to click it twice. Okay, so now we're gonna hit settings. And this is my GroovePay API. Now, it might be saved from one of the trainings I did before. So let me just check, okay? Real quick. Let me just see if it's in there. Oh, there it is. Bam. save. That's all it is. Guys, once you have your GroovePay account, you're just going to copy and paste the API key, and that's it. That's how simple. I'm going to skip this again. And you activate GroovePay. If you already have your GroovePay account, you're just going to go into your settings under tools, I believe, in GroovePay, and you're going to copy that one line of code, paste it in there. That's it. Was that easy, John?
Yeah, actually the simplest process because of that reason. Now, mind you, if you want to select any other payment provider, you might have different steps. But
Right.
for the sake of speed and for the sake of accuracy, we just did it this way. But we're going to touch a little bit further down the road with the different payment system and how to connect PayPal, how to connect Stripe, anything that you have available, we will give you the steps for it. Now,
Perfect.
as you can see right there, it says, woohoo, congratulations, you actually created your store. And once you click the launch button, guess what's going to happen? Pretty much you're going to get a big green.
Boom. All right.
There you go.
Shipping, we already covered that. Why we're going to leave that as it is. So next, I think we have a little bit of time. Let's get the domain connected. How about that?
Yeah, let's do that. And before you do that, well, you get everything prepared because I know you have to change the DNSs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But let's just cover. And I hope that if we take maybe another 2-3 more minutes, I don't think people will be mad at us. And I think you'll be a great idea to actually address some questions because we have a couple of them here. I was just reading here. So Ann Waltz asked, how many stores can you have with an upgraded account? And you can have as many accounts, as many stores as you need. Not as you want, because again, we have to learn the difference between how many stores you need and how many stores I want, because we want to have 300,000 stores. Do we need them? Not really. You need one to start and make a difference. So hope that actually answers your question. And let's see, we have another one here.
And just remember, guys, what John mentioned in the beginning of the training: one store every 7 days. So if you want to, if you got a team already, they want to start knocking out niche stores and stuff like that and testing. Well, it's one every 7 days, so that's about 4 a month if you go ham and go hog wild.
Right. And actually, we have a very interesting question, and I'm going to cover here in 2 minutes. Tori Rob says, I am making a store and want to donate percentage to charity. Can you offer some campaign strategies? We can offer you a lot of campaign strategies, but I think we're going to write it down for topic. But I'm going to give you one really quickly. If you put in the page or a specific product maybe that you want to kind of push in TikTok or Facebook, X amount of dollars or X percentage of these products sales are going to certain charity or whatever company you want to support, whatever fundraiser, whatever it is that you want to support. If you let people know, maybe that will create a feeling, that will create that need to help. So that's the strategies we will talk a little bit further down the road. We're going to definitely just add it for the further down questions. But yeah, there's many strategies, and one of them is make sure that you let them know in your product and just publicize it everywhere. I mean, in Facebook, like, hey, if you buy stuff in my store, X amount or X percentage is going to charity, whatever charity might be. Frank, anything on that?
Oh yeah, and just like if and do it if you're really going to do it, right? I've seen
Yes.
marketers are marketers, right? So I've seen, a percentage and they're really not doing nothing. So do it and showcase. And you don't have to show customer data, but you can say, do a little video. Today we're donating $150 to the whatever fund, and you can share that. And then people will share that on social media. You can put it on your Facebook group. You can put it, on the page on Instagram. And say thank you guys for your support. We really appreciate it. Today we got to donate $500 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation or the whatever. Showcase it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then you can showcase that little video on the product page or on the About Us page, and then that just helps give you more know, like, and trustability.
Exactly, and not only that, but also it gives you the credibility that you need if you make it part of your storytelling. Once you decide to make sure that you have a charity that you have selected, make it part of your story, make it part of your actions, but make it true. I mean, we have seen cases of people said, oh yeah, this $1 of each sale is going to go to the whatever foundation, but then everything stays. Never found out. Hey, what happened? Oh, we never did it, or for whatever reason was never done. So if you commit, do it. I think that's the most important part because, as Frank mentioned, it will add you credibility, and not only that, but it will give you a purpose. And I think touching on that really quickly is when your website has a purpose, when your website has a driven situation that you want to push to help, it will be beneficial for you as well and your brand. And I believe, Frank, we have another question here. Dwight, hey, Dwight, nice to see you around, man. Dwight Perry asks, what is the optimum size for the store logo and favicon size? I believe, and don't quote me on this, I believe it's 350 by 350. Or you can make it a little bit larger. But this, as you saw on the demo, Dwight, once it cut it, it will actually just kind of just resize it and convert it to the WebPG, which is the new format for images in Groove. A lot of people don't know this, but we have optimized the files in a way that once you upload a JPEG, it will be a WebPB, which is a new type of file that actually loads faster for all the stores. But the size, I believe, is anywhere between 250 and 500 pixels.
So
So
real quick, I want to add on that the favicon max is 32 by 32 or 16 by 16 for the favicon. And then real quick on the logo, you can decide to either have a square logo or rectangular. I like rectangular where it's shorter in height and more long. That's just me. So just keep in mind the ratios of that, right? And
right,
the great thing about Canva is they have default settings and default aspect ratios already. So you can say, oh, I want a square logo or I want a rectangle logo. And sometimes what I do, I'll make a logo and I'll make it in a banner, like it's made more like for a Facebook cover. And then I'll just use that as the logo because it came out really good and it's more rectangular, how I like it. John made it in square. You can do either one, or you can be circular, whatever. So, but I know, like you said, 350. What'd you say? 350 by?
yeah, 350 by 350 or 500 by 500. And
Yeah.
it all depends because, as you saw, the editor actually has the great capability now to make sure that you can crop it. So no matter how big you make it, it will accommodate it. But as Frank said, just try to keep the margins a little bit smaller so you don't have a lot of white space in between your logo and the margins of the site.
Perfect.
And we have a very cool question here. Justin Vachon, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, Justin, your last name. Is there a printful integration? Yes, there is, and we're gonna showcase it in a couple of sessions later.
Yeah.
So we're gonna save you that surprise. And Terry Young asked, "Is Sling incorporated into GrooveKart?" Yes, it is. So if you have a Sling account, you can actually go into your apps and you will find it there. So
There's one more. Let's see. Did you do this one? Or do it from Sam Davis? Did you do that one? Do we need to create your own domain prior to opening? Let's see.
Sam Davis, let me see if I have this.
Yeah, here it goes. Okay. So the
perfect.
answer is no. Actually, I encourage you to just, man, get in here and first map out whatever you're going to do. And you can get the domain. Like, let's say you love firefighter stuff because your husband's a firefighter, 20 years. And you want to dedicate to firefighter wives, funny firefighter shirts, serious firefighter shirts, and all this firefighter type stuff. Well, you can just get it going like lovemyfirefighter.groovekart.com. And then if that domain isn't available, then you can think about what the domain is going to be later. You know what I mean? Like
yes,
my fireman swag. I don't know if that's available, right? So you can always think of the domain later. If you already know what niche you're going to go into or what passion or what interest, etc. Or it could be a general store too. So keep that in mind. You can always choose a domain. It could be the last thing you do. You could be ready to go. Everything's ready. And then you could do the domain.
awesome. Let me see if we have any other question here. Let me see this one. What is the big differences of GrooveKart compared with the other competitors? Queen Bees ask. Well, Queen, besides of the obvious fact of the pricing, because whenever you decide to start a store in Shopify, you have a cost. In WooCommerce, you have a cost. Maybe if you do it with WordPress, of course, they say it's free. But then if you want to add any extra functionality, you have to pay for the plugins. So that's one of the biggest differences within other competitors. How do we compare? Is actually very easy to use. And not only that, but allows you to create multiple stores in your same account. And as you will see, is very, very, very easy to put whatever you need in their store. Product management is completely easy. It is the improvements that we did was actually amazing. The same thing with shipping and the integrations with new companies that we're having in the future, as well as the old ones that we have. So that will be part of the biggest differences.
Yeah, and I'd like to add some of the stuff that comes by default with GrooveKart. I get excited. If you want to do with Shopify some of the stuff we have, you're gonna have to spend an extra $200-300 just in apps to make it work.
Yes.
One of the main things, one-click upsell. I know that the app I used to use when I used Shopify was $300 a year. Okay, and right now I believe it's $67 a month. I think. Don't quote me on that. But we have one-click upsell feature built in, and you can do unlimited upsells and downsells. Now, I wouldn't do more than 3 or 4. That's taking it to the extreme when you do more than 4. But I've seen people have like 6 upsells in their funnels when it comes to e-commerce. And so it's built right in, guys. So if you're selling a shirt, firefighter wife shirt, you can upsell the hoodie and then downsell the mug, and then maybe downsell some stickers or something like that. And then if they buy the hoodie as the upsell, the other 2 items that you have in there can be the upsells for what they bought. So it's beautiful because once you put it in there under one-click upsell for the product, they serve as upsells and downsells. So whatever items first at the top is going to be the first upsell. If they buy it, the one that's under there, and we'll show you this when we come to that point, will be the downsell.
Yes.
And let's say you sold them, they bought the firefighter wife t-shirt on the front end. The upsell is the hoodie. Let's say they say no, thank you. Well, you already have a second offer. So now they get to see the mug, and they might buy the mug because they're like, oh, let me get that, mug because I love coffee or whatever. So that's one key feature. I can't rave enough about the one-click upsell. One more feature that you have to be a Shopify Plus user to do is to customize your cart page, your checkout page. Shopify Plus is minimum $2,000 a month, and you already have to have existing volume to do the customization on the checkout page, right? Here in GrooveKart, you can customize it without being a $2,000 a month.
Exactly.
So.
And there are many other ways. And I think that we're going to take another question because it's already 5:02, and we still have to do one last step to connect the domain.
Yes.
So let's be respectful of everybody's time. And I know everybody's so excited to continue, but we're going to keep doing these, guys, by the way, every Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Frank and I will be here kind of helping you, guiding through the whole process. So this is something that we definitely want to keep growing with, and especially now that we're going to have more and more suppliers joining the GrooveKart family.
Don't forget GrooveZilla. We got GrooveZilla going to be here as well. GrooveZilla is going to be here, doing the training with us. So let's do the last 2 questions, then we'll do the domain.
Oh, here, let me just address this last question because a Facebook user asked, a while back I tried to integrate Dropify into GrooveKart. I was on a chat with Dropify support and I was told they no longer integrate with Groove. I brought this up to David Lemon in one of his lemonades, and he said that he didn't know anything about it. Do you guys have any info with this? As a matter of fact, we do. We actually have rekindled that conversation with Dropify, and it's not that we did not have a support for them. It was actually the other way around. But Frank Salinas is spearheading that operation, and I believe is going to get back on track, and everything will get back in order.
Yes, we actually, Mike Filsame, Mike's super busy. Mike Filsame reached out to one of the board members, and it's just really just a technical thing with the developers, and that's going to be fixed very, very fast. And thank you for reminding me, because the last time I touched base with him was on last Thursday. So we're getting that done. It's just a matter of miscommunication. It's going to be back up before we know it. And when it is back up and running, the connection's back on, I'm going to just post it in the group to notify everybody.
Awesome. And well, last is not a question, but hey, I just want to congratulate Vincent Timskins to actually became a lifetime member yesterday. So hey, congrats to you, my friend. You made a great step towards whatever your goals are, because no matter what you're planning to do with Groove, either it's Groove pages, GrooveMember, whatever it is, you have that everything in one house, and it's we're glad to have you. So Frank, let's get to it.
Good.
Let's get
Let's do it. I'm gonna
at the
refresh
domain.
my screen, make sure it's still logged in and Namecheap, and then let's do it. Okay. So and then let me go to the dashboard, and so let's see here.
But
Share screen.
let's add you. Oh, you're gonna add your yeah. You don't want to share that information yet. Only when we just go to the domain.
Okay. All right. Let me know if you can see the store.
Yep.
Okay. So here, I'm guessing it's going to have the new feature. So let's click on setup domain, and it's going to tell us to go set this up in the dashboard. So let's see. Okay. Testing, testing, testing. So let's go and go back into the Groove dashboard. And let's go here. Hang on one second. There we go. Okay, so we need to set up the domain, right? And can you see my Namecheap dashboard?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to copy this. I'm logged into Namecheap, guys. This is my registrar. Some of you might use GoDaddy or somebody else. So this is where I bought it. So I'm going to copy this. Now I'm in the Groove dashboard. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to click on my account. And when you come here, you're going to see a section called domains, right? We click on that, and then we're going to say custom domains, manage. And so I'm going to add a domain, and I'm going to do the full domain setup, which is recommended. I'm going to hit next, and then I'm going to paste that just like that. And then I'm going to hit next. You see the cool little G logo. And now these are our name servers to update the DNS records. Okay. I'm not a technical genius when it comes to this stuff. So if I say a term wrong, excuse me, I'm just doing what I know works, and we're going to do it. So here we're going to copy Dora, and we're going to go back to Namecheap. All right. And right here under Namecheap, there's a section that says domains, and you have products, sharing, blah, blah, blah. If you see this, you're going to see custom DNS. You see that, John?
Yep.
All right, click it. And then all I'm going to do is paste this plain text. That's what I typically do. Then I'm going to come back. I'm going to copy major. And I'm going to come back, click here, right click, paste this plain text. And then I'm going to just click on this little check mark. You see that? Very small. They make it small, but I mean, that's what you do. You click save. And bada bing, bada boom, bam. DNS server update may take up to 48 hours to take effect. Okay. But
now,
go ahead.
A little caveat, Franco, that one. Remember, every single register might be a little different. So this is the experience with Namecheap, NameSilo, GoDaddy. Any other register might have a little setting, but the most important part is just that you can identify the DNS, where to change your DNS settings. And every company will have that very visible, very prominent. And all that you need to do is make sure that you change the DNS. That's pretty much what you need to deal with that there in your register.
All right. Great. Okay, so now let's go next. Okay. Validate. Okay, let's see. It might not happen right away, right? So let's validate. Domain initiated. Try again after 1 hour. So let's complete the process. Okay. And let's check back in about let me stop sharing. Let's check back in, let's say, 3 or 4 minutes. I think it might happen pretty quick.
Yes, because since you purchased the domain earlier, all that you have to do is just point the DNS. Now, mind you guys, if you buy the domain, and this is important, if you buy the domain and you connect it right away, then you might have to wait those 24, 48 hours. Have that in mind, because I have seen people that bought the domain and they try to put it in immediately and say, hey, my domain is not working, it's not connecting. Why is that? It's because something called propagation. The domain has to propagate. They have to make sure that they set it up correctly. So usually get the domain or get the subdomain, whatever it might need. But if you get a custom domain, purchase the domain and then do the process. And I think if you leave a window of 12 to 24 hours, those 24 hours reduce greatly. So you don't have to wait for that to be kind of the case.
Yeah, and some of you might be like me. I get impatient and I get excited, and it's like, oh, So just don't freak out. You buy the domain, you change the name servers. Go do something, whatever. It's not going to be like super instant, but you just never know.
Exactly.
I check once an hour, but I'm going to still, check right now to see, right? Let's just see. So real quick, also want to mention Groove, the Groove platform, the Groove community, the Groove family. If you're still on the fence about upgrading, I just want to take this time right now to remind you, if you're upgraded, you can launch a store every 7 days. And if you're free, John, how does it go again? Once every what?
30 days.
Big
Every
difference.
30 days, guys. It's a big difference. Exactly. So if you want to take advantage, let's say you open a store or you have a free account right about February and you open a store for whatever. But remember, February, what happened? We have what is the festivities that we have or we're celebrating in February? Anybody in the audience?
Oh, Valentine's.
There
Sorry.
you go.
Yeah.
So let's say you had an idea. So let's say you have an idea. I was like, oh, I cannot do my store because I created one on the 2nd of February and I have to wait 30 days. So think and plan ahead. It's all about planning, guys. But that problem is solved if you upgrade. If you upgrade, if you have the ability to have a store every 7 days, so just plan it out. And remember, start with one. Uh, I cannot stress this enough in every single training that we do because a lot of people think that, oh, I have an idea, I'm going to just make it through. And I'm going to just cite something that Frank Salinas made a couple of weeks ago. Put it on paper. And that's the most important part for me. Before you begin any single process, put it on paper, write it down on the ideas, write down what products you want to sell, write down who your customers are going to be, write down what is your target market. So you will have an easier process. And you see he's handing out that notebook. I mean, we all have those. I mean, and this is, and when I say we, everybody that has been in e-commerce for more than 5 years, they know that at all times you need to have a little paper and a little pen to write down your ideas because every day at any given point you're gonna get an idea. But just make it count. Laser focus when you start your store, and you'll see the difference. Hey Frank, let's check on that domain, see how the
Yeah,
process
let's
is
do it.
going.
Let's see. I'm excited. And guys, we told you we're gonna not skip anything for the most part with this because we want you to get the idea. You see it, John?
Yeah, actually, yes, I see it now.
Click to verify. Let's see. Validate. Bam. That's it. You see this green? Successfully verified domain. So now we're not done yet. Let's choose the primary app. Okay. So you just click this big pink button and we're going to hit the Groove, the drop down, I'm saying, and then GrooveKart. And then we're going to hit the check mark and bada bing, bada boom, bam. It's ready to go. Okay. Now, one more thing. Let's see. What is this? Okay. So 404. What am I going to do real quick while we're here? I'm going to check this off. And if anyone goes to a page, let's say it is a page that I first promoted to my Facebook fan page, and now it's not working because I changed the product or something. It's going to go to a 4.4, and we're just going to redirect them to the main domain. Does that make sense, John?
Yep.
Okay, that's the HTTPS code.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
Okay.
it's very small in my screen, but yes, it's okay.
Okay, so that's it. We're good. This is now connected. So now if we go back, let's go. I think that's it. I don't think we need to update nothing.
Yep.
So now we're gonna go back,
just-
GrooveKart, and then let's look at that. What you see there? You see your logo now, right?
Yep.
So now we can click on admin dashboard.
Or even try to test the domain. Let's just see if the domain is ready. Just go to another tab and try to see.
My cat swag, and I wanted to go here, and let's type it in.
Don't forget the .com. There you go.
Oh, not yet.
Not yet. So it's still connecting internally. So
it takes a few minutes. Yeah.
So guys, another thing. So just check it out. Check out the page. Once we finish with the live right now, just check out the page. Try to interact. See the functionality. See what you can do. Of course, it's gonna be empty. But for those who haven't got an experience with GrooveKart, try to take a look at it. And if you do have an account, experience it. Just go with it. Try to experiment, because a lot of people are afraid to use it because I don't know how. Right now, we're doing all of this because we're creating new material for the upgrade that we did recently. Well, actually, it's been a couple of months. We did version 2. And there are great things coming up to V2 that were already implemented, like the payment integrations, the new payment integrations. Shipping also was improved. We actually have now integration with ShipStation. We will actually just also have a full episode on that, and many other things that we actually thought about what our customers were looking for. And unfortunately, I have a question here, but Dwight says, can you tell us more about what new things are coming to GrooveKart? Since so many things are actually on the works, we want to make sure that, full transparency, we could not tell you a lot of things yet, but changes are coming. I mean, we're going to have updates and new products, new third-party companies joining us soon. And Frank actually just met with one of them recently, which is a great, great company. And it's going to be very exciting to see the actual progress to a more custom solution kind of situation. Pretty much you can customize products. So
Yeah,
that's going to be the next venture.
and I want to just touch a little bit about that, just to give you a preview. First, want to get the integration with Icon set up, ready to go, so you can do personalized products on your GrooveKart stores. And then once that's implemented, everything's working. One day in this coming year, I don't care what you're selling. One of the things that John Cornetta, one of the founders' vision to have, and me and him talked about it a lot, you're going to be able to sell whatever you're selling. And on the thank you page, we're going to be able to showcase a couple of products that are default across all stores, ready to go with the person's first or last name, showing previews on the product that they can buy. It'll say something like, thanks for your purchase, John. Here are some items below we think you'll love. And it'll show 4, 8, maybe 10 different products. And it'll say, you know, John Garcia is the best chef in the world. And it'll be a cutting board. And then there might be a hoodie that says Garcia Family 2022. And if your last name is Johnson Family 2022.
Nice.
The guy's name is Brad. He just bought something from your store, and it'll say Brad's the best chef in the world. And it's a cutting board with Brad's name already ready to go.
Nice.
And it's going to be attached to the customer's information. So it's going to be custom to them. So that's after we get the first integration done with Icon. That's what we're going to have. So you can make way more extra money with every customer you get, because we're going to have that on the customized thank you confirmation pages after they purchase. So that's coming. Nice. Not in the first quarter, but that is coming. Okay. So
nice.
That's a little thing.
And
can you see my screen?
Yeah, actually we have the screen, and yeah, we actually got one last step to complete in order to connect the store.
Yes. So
and somebody just mentioned it, and I'm gonna just highlight the comment. And thank you, Eric, because I see that you guys paying attention, because you still haven't linked the store that you need to do that part. I mean, you still haven't linked the store, you need to do that part. Yes, that's correct. So that was one of the things that the available domains. Let me just hide our faces here for a second so we can see the full list.
Yeah, and I jumped the gun. You're right. I'm talking and I'm yapping, and I totally skipped that.
Yeah.
So even me, I make mistakes. Or don't get me wrong, I make mistakes all the time. I jumped to the wrong section, so I should have went to settings and then domain, and then here we are again. And then you see these things showing up here. These are just test items.
Right.
We need to find this one right here, which is the domain we purchased, and we hit link. And then domain is attached to the store. All right. So now if we go back into settings, and then let me hit it again, store information.
You will have that information there as well.
You see how earlier I was manually I don't have to do that. And that's why I jumped the gun. So, and then earlier when I was, John was talking, I was putting different emails because if you wanted to, this one is going to be connected to your GrooveKart mail inbox. You could add a different, like a Gmail or something like that. So let's say when you make a sale, you can set up a filter in Gmail, and then it can show up and you can just see it that way. But by default, you can change this to you can add to this and add a second email if you wanted to. Okay.
Correct. And it's always good to have a backup because the system will let you know once you make an order to the default email. But if you have a Gmail account or anything
Yeah.
else that you can see in your cell phone whenever you get an order,
Yeah.
you get the notification. So it's always good to have, hey, you have a new order,
Yeah.
especially especially when you're, just walking around and you're just lunging,
Especially when you're new.
whatever. Exactly.
John
And
Cornetta says this a lot. This is what used to keep him going was the cell notifications, and he set up a special thing when he'd get an email or something, it would ping his phone, and so you can set up customization where you see that on your Gmail app and things like that, and it's just cool because it keeps you pumped up and excited, especially when you're new to e-commerce.
right. All right. So since the domain has now been connected, Frank, let's just do another two questions, and I think we can wrap up. It's
Yeah,
been past
no, we're
20
good.
minutes. So Trader Rob says, any recommendations for who to use to handle customer service calls? That is dear to my heart because right now we run the support for 750,000 customers, guys. So it's a hard job. Dealing with customer service calls or customer service situation is always hard. But have one thing in mind. It's always about making your customer happy. And the way that you handle it, it could be via email, it could be via phone or via chat. It all depends how big your situation is. If you're starting, email is fine as long as you try to reply as soon as possible. We right now have, as I said, we have hundreds of thousands of customers, and we try to reply as fast as we can. And yes, it's growing pains. And the only reason why I'm touching this is because this question was raised, but it's always about what you sell. It's always about what you offer to your customers. And if you only have a support email address, go with it first, then expand to a phone situation if you can actually have the time. It's all about timing because if you're starting with a store and you try to do so many things, then you ended up doing nothing. Because, oh, I'm going to help my customers in the phone or via email or via chat or via Autobot or whatever it is, then you're not going to get things done. Focus on one single solution that you can manage. If it's email, be on the email. If it's phone, if you have the time to have a dedicated phone line or a cell phone number that you want to use in your store, do that, but just make sure that you can respond as soon as possible. And one last question. Ismail Tinta says, question for non-English markets, there's a way to edit buttons into any language we want, like in Groove pages. As a matter of fact, you can customize certain buttons in GrooveKart as well. But good thing is that GrooveKart will have new languages soon. And by the last name, Ismail, I believe you want to speak Spanish, which we're actually going to do also these sessions in Spanish. So, Frank? Anything to add to those two last questions?
No, that was it. I'm gonna probably in the next session. I'm gonna have a new favorite con just because it's my little OCD that I want to make.
You were still thinking about
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I'll just make a new little favorite con and pop it in there. So the next session you'll see it there, just so you can see. Because right now, actually, if you go right now to go mycatswag.com, it's live. I just tested it. It took a second to load, but you guys can go look. It's actually that fast. It's now going to the GrooveKart store, so it's beautiful. I don't have anything else other than listen. If you're on the fence about upgrading, before you know it, the time's coming where we're going monthly, and you're not going to be able to save thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars like we can right now by upgrading. There's a ton of benefits to upgrading, not just related to GrooveKart, but Groove Pages and all the other apps we have built into the community and to the platform. Just get off the fence and
Yes.
upgrade if you can do it. And I understand if you can't, your wife or your husband's going to kill you. I get it. So maybe you're waiting to monthly. There, we've discussed that too, right? Maybe some people are just waiting. But if you can do it now because you'll love the fact that you took action.
And just as you said, the speed loves money and money loves the speed. And one of the things is like in this case, I'm gonna just kind of close the session with a pun. Curiosity didn't kill the cat. Curiosity made the cat richer. Think about it, because if you're curious about something that you're passionate and you want to learn it, like many of our customers, many of our affiliates, right now they're actually just bought the product, they upgraded, and they have funnels that are making the money. They have stores making the money. So because they were curious to know what Groove can do for me. So just think about it, and whenever you have a chance, if you have the chance soon, get that upgrade, because in the long run, if you put the time, if you put the actual action in it, if you actually move with Groove, for sure you're going to just reap the benefits later down the road.
Yes,
So,
sir.
guys, Frank, anything else? And for me, I think that's it. Frank,
No,
David.
David, if you're still there, you want to say hi or you
Hi.
Okay, that's I guess
That's about it for today.
yeah. All right. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, David. Thank you, John Garcia. We appreciate everyone watching. We're going to be back next Tuesday, 4 Eastern. And there's no holidays, right? I'll double check
No.
always to make sure we're not on a holiday or something like that. But we're going to be here to continue where we're leaving off right now. And that's after we connected our domain.
Yeah, next Tuesday will be December 7th, so no holidays in sight. So, all right, thank you guys. It's been a pleasure. If you have any other question, comments, just leave it in the actual thread. We will be able to answer them. David, thank you for actually helping us today. Frank, it's always been a pleasure. So, guys, we'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.